We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Rafino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight. Brian Kelly's not done yet in recruiting. Uh-oh. I think tomorrow morning on AYSSnetwork.com, for the first time in the website's history, we are going to be dropping a, what do you kids call it these days? A crystal ball? Let me play this again. So every time you read it, when you go to the website, you could think of that sound. Ba-da-da-da. Nevertheless, absolutely fantastic day for the Tigers in baseball. Fantastic day for Brian Kelly. Been a really good week. A lot of good clips, a lot of good things going out. And guys, really and truthfully, we're less than 2 weeks away from LSU's fighting camp, or LSU Fighting Tiger football camp getting underway. So a lot to talk about there. SEC Media Days Take 2. Saban gave Brian Kelly some pleasantries. Said Eli Ricks is still immature, using his paraphrase there. But we do got a lot to talk about. And you already know, Rafino's rants on this glorious Tuesday is around the corner. You already know that. Memphis Spence joins us again this week. He will be joining us at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Let's talk around the SEC and SEC Media Days, some more conference alignment with him as well. Early Christmas present for Jay Johnson is a lot of the guys. Paul Gervais did get drafted in the 12th round to the Mets. He is going to be going to the Mets. Really good for Paul, man. He's an older guy. Congratulations to him. Wish he would have stayed, but LSU gets huge additions with guys like Griffin Herring. And the biggest, in my personal opinion, Gavin Guidry announces that he will be coming to LSU and being a Tiger. Carter Young, the transfer from Vandy, he also got drafted, unsure and unclear what he's going to do. Jack Pineda, who was actually on this show about a month ago, he got drafted. He's going to be going. So we'll talk about some of those key pieces, but Gavin Guidry, guys, is a day one shortstop, especially if the bat gets rolling. So huge news for Jay Johnson. And we'll do, as we do every Tuesday and Thursday, hashtag Ask Blake. So you have a question, fire them inside the Rudy Crew chat. We will try to get to them at least as many of them as we can during the show. So fire them in. We greatly appreciate it. It's going to be a fun show. Oh, God. Crying Belly in YouTube. Getting to a couple comments before we get started. Crying Belly is saying Shelton Sampson is a lock. His sources tell him so. Okay. Al Landry said, so is anything exciting happen today? Absolutely. Absolutely. You probably got a core base for the next 3 years on your baseball team. Rob Boudreaux says, hello, peeps, and good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Al Landry says, for number 99, clap with no hands. Yeah, we are on episode 499. Tomorrow we'll be at 500. A big accomplishment for us, man, just consistency, working hard and consistency. So to all of you people out there that want to start a podcast and want to be a part of media, the biggest thing is consistency, man. We've done 500 of these shows since we've been back doing this remotely full time. So episode 500 is a very, very big deal for us. Cold Case One says, I can't keep up with all the baseball stuff today. Too much going on. Where are the 5 stars in football at? Of course. Crying Belly fires in a question. Let's table that. I'll answer that outside of the. I'll answer that right out of the break. Aunt Marshall says bunch of narratives going around. Yeah, it's getting a little tired and aggravating, but we'll bitch and moan and complain about national media guys doing it. But God forbid if us as LSU fans do it. And quite honestly, I'm not gonna really take any more people telling me about the state that aren't from the state. Man, you're not going to tell me about the state and you've never lived here. I don't care where you're born, where you've been. if you haven't lived here in your entire life like I have, don't tell me about the state, man. Just really don't. Cole K says Georgia Insider posted a clip of a fat guy that was supposed to be BK. Good for him. Good for him. I really don't give a shit what other people are posting. They can talk all they want, but Kirby Smart has a bowl cut. He goes to the barber and they put a bowl over his head, and that's how they cut his hair. So, I mean, the last time I checked, the last time Kirby Smart walked his ass into Death Valley, he got those cheeks clapped. Yeah, look, this is the Rafino's rants. We'll wait for it. I'll make a very bold prediction. People aren't going to agree with me. But Rafino's rants are right around the corner because I'm tired of hearing it. And not only guys from national media, why do you have to beat up on yourself when other people are doing it for you? It's like a guy, you're with a group of friends, and when you're with those group of friends, all these friends make fun of you, and then you start making fun of yourself. Flip them the middle finger and say, shut up, I'm going to beat your A, and if they beat you up, so what? Stick up for yourself. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of the LSU slamming. Pause. Actually, no pause. Pooh Bear can get over it. Hey, Pooh Bear and Zach are with us, but you know what? Zach's just like, oh, I'm going on a cruise. So, Pooh Bear, who's actually going to SWAC Media Days. Round of applause for the Pooh Bear. The only bad thing is, I was going to make a joke. It's not that funny of a joke. Pooh Bear was getting all lined up and party today, getting his hair cut, and he, I'll let him mention it. But Pooh, we got to talk. You can't say shit about your boy. No more. All right, a couple more, and we'll get rolling. Keaton, damn son. Pause. Keaton, put a shirt on. There's women in this space. Put a damn shirt on. Keaton, put a shirt on.
Pause.
Again, Pooh Bear, you can't do it. He says,
Pause.
Coach O beat balls off Kirby twice. He did beat them draws off, boy. Pause. It's going to be one of them episodes, isn't it? We're almost 500 episodes in. It's going to be one of those episodes, isn't it? Pooh Bear, every time we say the word pause in the show, we got to give $1 to charity. How about that? Every time Zach says something outlandish,
pause.
That's $1. That's $1. All right, let's get rolling. I want to do this. I want to give a big shout out to our good friends over at Pristine Auction. They're a new partner of AYS. Just want to welcome them aboard. We'll be playing their ad that they gave to us. They'll be doing some giveaways, a lot of sports memorabilia on prestigeauction.com. So go over there today for all your sports memorabilia. We'll be playing that later on the show tonight, but just want to welcome them to AYS. Okay, everybody do us a favor. You know the drill. I say it every night. You probably can repeat the drill with me. But so many of you are watching us on Facebook. Do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to those Facebook groups. Share to your own social media platforms. If you're listening to us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. If you're listening to us on XM Radio or the audio podcast, rate, review, subscribe as well. And let me say, the AYS forum message board has completely taken off. You're going to want to go over there today, AYSSnetwork.com. Subscribe to the VIP forum, $7 a month or $37.50 for your first 6 months. Guys, it's been blowing up. So much interaction inside the forum, giving recruiting tidbits, giving you what I'm hearing around LSU athletics and more. So go subscribe, AYSSnetwork.com. Use the forum, do the $37.50 or the $7 a month. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, let's pay these bills very quickly. Rafino's rants around the corner. I've had enough. I'm like the parent that's had enough. Some of y'all about to start getting some whoopings up in here. You want your cornbread? Because I'm about to take yours. Pause. That's $2. All right, let's pay these bills. None better than our good friends over at GM Varno & Sons and betonline.ag. Back in a minute. Our partners over at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's easy to get started, so head on over to their website, use betonline.ag, use that promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down on the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992, 225-664-9992. Tell me your good friend Blake Rafino sent you on by. It's good to see my good buddy Chase Orgeron back listening and watching and commenting on the shows. You guys used to obliterate him. No pause. Obliterate him inside the space or inside the comment section. So Chase, welcome back, brother. I know it's been a very rough 2 years for you. Welcome back. Thank you for being part of AYS. Doug Knows says the LSU coach since 2016 or 2006, excuse me, has been a quote unquote clown act. BK put an end to the nonsense yesterday. Nice to have an adult in the building. I agree with that. I 1000% agree with that. And Carl Dunn says this very, very good. Carl Dunn on YouTube says, we coming to lay it the smack it down, hashtag pause, hashtag Pooh Bear eats too much funeral chick. I wonder what people on XM Radio and Apple Podcast see. You know, Blake, what's funeral chicken? All right, one more, then we're going to get to this Rafino's rant. Jordan on YouTube says, hashtag Ask Blake and the Pooh Bear. Which 3 SEC teams does LSU beat if we're able to go 8-4? Give me Tennessee. Didn't think that was coming, did you? Give me Mississippi State. Give me A&M. Give me Florida. Pooh Bear's going to type his probably inside the chat. Because Pooh Bear just got his new twist in. He can't be showing y'all. What did Snoop Dogg say when he got his new twist in, Pooh Bear? All right, let's get this thing rolling. Guys, let me first off by prefacing this. Everybody do us a favor, hit the like and share. All of you stop right now. Hit the like and share. Subscribe to AYSSnetwork.com. Pooh Bear says Auburn, Florida, A&M, Mississippi State. That's a good one. I think LSU beats Tennessee at late night in Death Valley. I'm going to stick by that. I'm definitely going to stick by that. All right, so listen up. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how many people go on social media and are active on Twitter. I got to say this. I am 1,000% out of everybody shitting on Brian Kelly. Guys, I'm tired of it. Like, it's cute. Let me tell you what was cute. I was okay with you going after Orgeron last season when people were calling in and saying that their sister was on the front row of the coach's show. She was a big titty blonde. Y'all said all of that. That's not my words. Y'all said that. If you want me to use the direct quotes, that was the call. You called into Orgeron. You said that he liked blonde women. All right? It's cool. He does. whatever. The man got fired after Florida, after LSU ran down Florida's throat. You used to make fun of Les Miles. The man eats grass. All right. It's cute. It's funny. It's this little thing that he's got going on. He's still winning a lot of games, 10, 11 games a season, going to 2 national titles, winning one of them. I'm not the biggest Les Miles fan. It's whatever. You made fun of him. But it does seem to me, every single time LSU hires a coach, especially in football, you got a problem with it. Sometimes it even comes from people in our own fan base, people in our own media group, going up to Nick Saban, going up to Bryce Young, going up to other guys at SEC Media Days and asking how the Louisiana prospects are doing. Why? Get over it. Who gives a Rudy Poo why Eli Ricks, per Nick Saban, isn't doing good? Great. It's an update. Sounds good. The kid can play. Don't care. Put number 7 on him. Put Kayshawn on him. Don't care. Kayshawn's going to toast him like bread coming out of a toaster. Don't care. Whether it goes to recruiting. Oh, my God. Oh. You got an issue with Brian Kelly going nationally. But then you bitch, moan, and complain when Jaylen Brown, a former 5-star wide receiver out of Miami, drops on 247. Brian Kelly can't go nationally in recruiting. Apparently, I was wrong with that. Guys, newsflash. LSU's got to go outside of Louisiana to win natties. You won a championship in 2003. Your quarterback wasn't from this state. You won a natty in 2007. Your quarterback wasn't from this state. 3 offensive linemen was not from this state. Your lead wide receiver was not from this state. 2019, you got me. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Lloyd Cushenberry. See, Charles wasn't from here. Austin Deculus, he says he's from Mamu. He's not from Mamu. He played high school football in Texas. Damian Lewis isn't from here. Braden Fajoko's not from here. You got to be able to recruit nationally. Saban doesn't have a problem where a kid's from when he's winning a natty. No issues. Stop talking shit about Brian Kelly, dude. This whole Louisiana is nothing but a whole bunch of people that are water boy dudes, water boy speaking individuals. Shut up. I'm gonna make a statement. It's a must-win game week 1 for Brian Kelly. He's not going to get fired. We're not going to say, come from the rafters with tiki torches. We're not going to come to football outs with pitchforks if LSU gets beat by Florida State. I'm not saying that. We got to shut these dudes up. One thing I agree with my good buddy Blaine Crane from Crane & Company, LSU has built a persona nationally tough and nasty defenses. Oh, Les Miles isn't innovative enough. But go talk to any other fan base in the country during Les Miles. Bro, we might lose 31-21. It's not a 10-point win for LSU. They kicked our ass. Guys, get over it. Because every time you start talking that shiznit about Brian Kelly, he comes from the top rope like his name's Rob Van Dam, and he starts beating the shit out of you. The man has won more games at Notre Dame than any human being on the face of the planet. But all I continue to see, whether it be Wes Blankenship, who tweeted back at us today, I like Wes a lot. Brian Kelly with his fake accent. Shut up, dude. It's getting old. and aggravating. And the one thing that this team does not need is for their fan base to start saying, oh no, somebody's going to a swimming party at Texas A&M. Hashtag Shelton stays. The last time a young man went to a swimming party at Texas A&M, which is, whole bunch of dudes in a pool. Not going to even throw that out there. We would never do that in my day. The last time that happened was a guy by the name of Harold Perkins, who was a 5-star. Where did he go to school? Or where is he currently going to school? I'm tired of the narratives, dude. Everybody keeps blaming. We these Twitter spaces keep blaming one another. Give him time, man. Give him time. Saban went 6-6. Do you know what Nick Saban's record is in his first year as a head coach in college? In the last 2 times, it's 12-12. Is college football much different with the transfer portal and things like that? Yes. The double standards are absolutely unreal. Biggest thing, guys, in 2019, Joe Burrow wasn't from here. You got to recruit nationally. LSU sits in a good place with Shelton Sampson. They sit in a good place with Lance Hurd. You got the 2 best running backs in the state. I don't care that Tackett Curtis didn't come here. Do I want him as a player? Sure. Talented young man. Shelton Sampson and 2 head coaches. Shelton Sampson. Tackett Curtis and 2 head coaches didn't give LSU the light of day. At some point, it's not on Brian Kelly. It's not on Ed Orgeron. Guys, you really mean to tell me that Ed Orgeron wasn't recruiting a 5-star, 4-star kid from his own state? Like, you fully are going to try to convince me of that, and the kid didn't give Orgeron the light of day in 2019 when LSU won a natty before COVID struck. And you're blaming Brian Kelly for issues that Orgeron left. Guys, Orgeron wasn't the person you thought that he was. Orgeron was a great recruiter. Look at the defensive line. But there's a lot that goes into this. Apparently, I was, issued a summons last night in reference to Brian Kelly's own words about quarterbacks. We have to win week 1. And to me, to shut everybody up, LSU needs to go out there and make a statement. I don't really care. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you run for 300 yards and throw for negative yardage. I don't care if you win by 2 points. You got to get off on the right foot. The truth is, I really, really, really want LSU to win by 60 to shut everybody up. It's not going to happen. Florida State's got athletes on their side of the ball too. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. But to start off on the right foot, LSU's got to kick this game off. Brian Kelly even talked about last year's game. I get this question a lot in DMs and from fans. Blake, what's Brian Kelly actually doing? Is he really even doing anything? He legitimately recited almost play for play LSU versus UCLA last season. You're right. Oh, there goes my mic. You're right. The man that's getting paid $90 million guaranteed is sitting in his office, twiddling his thumbs, wearing Southern March t-shirts with his Hey Dudes on, doing nothing. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm not putting up with it. If you want to trash your head coach that hasn't coached the game, never in my Christian, born-again Christian life have I seen ignorance this high. I know I don't need to bring Jesus into this. I get it. I'm sick of it. This player's a lot. That player's like, no, he's not. All right. Poor Memphis Spence. Joining us in 2 minutes. At least that's what my team tells me. All right. Father A-Bear. How do I kick it up? Well, with Father A-Bear, but that's my man. He says, hashtag Ask Blake, this week may have been LSU baseball's biggest week. We're going to talk about that after Memphis Spence. Guys, Christmas come early. Griffin Herring, Gavin Guidry, and others. Moffitt. Okay, but LSU's behind in NIL. What's crazy is Brian Kelly can walk to a podium in the SEC at SEC Media Days. Hey, guys, our collective's got a whole bunch of money in it. Oh, he's lying. Brian Kelly's lying. You only believe what you want to believe. It's aggravating. How do you think LSU's getting all those 5 stars in baseball? Hey, why do you think a kid that's a top 15 prospect in the country didn't go in the draft and is coming to LSU? I'm not, as Forrest Gump would say, I'm not a smart man, but I do know what NIL is. He said it, not me. 2 more. We're getting to Memphis Spence. Chance Babin says, hashtag Ask Blake, is JJ going to get that Air Force Falcon skins? I hope so. Chase Orgeron, whose uncle rhymes with Ted. Chase says, hey, dog, my wife is blonde. What's up with you Orgeron men and blonde women? I love you, brother. Let's go get a beer soon. Relax. But you Orgeron and y'all's white blonde-headed women. All right. Last one. Father Aber says, hashtag Ask Blake. We said that one. It's this one. No, I think it was the same question over twice. So that's my bad. Okay. Let's talk. Let's do this. Let's get to our good friend Memphis Spence. Let's talk to him about SEC Media Days. What did he think of Brian Kelly and Nick Saban and so many more? We'll start off with asking him about Brian Kelly and his thoughts. But let's pay these bills very quickly. Again, I mentioned this earlier. I want to talk about our good friends over at pristineauction.com. pristineauction.com, guys. We're going to be doing a giveaway for them later this week or early next week. I'll be out probably later in the week because of a death in the family. So we'll try to get that later in the week. So let's talk about our good friends over at pristineauction.com. Guys, we'll be back in a minute 20 with your guest, the AYS People's Champion, Memphis Spence, in a minute 20. Guys, let me tell you about my friends over at pristineauction.com. PristineAuction.com is the most trusted sports memorabilia auction site with an A+ triple B rating. Auctions on Pristine start at just $1, and each day there are over 1,000 autographed items that are available, so you win signed authentic signatures at a very affordable price. Just last week, an autographed Justin Herbert jersey sold for just $110. Deals like this are happening all the time on pristineauction.com, and they have just about every player that you could want, including Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and so much more. You already know that I've been over there looking at LSU and Saints items. Every item on pristineauction.com comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reliable sources and authenticitors. Upgrade your auction and collection and signed memorabilia today and get a $10 off your first item won when you use the code SERIOUS. That's SERIOUS, SERIOUS, when you sign up. Again, pristineauction.com, pristineauction.com. Use that promo code SERIOUS on your first order. Yes! Guess who's back again. I'm sorry, Memphis. Right before you came on, we were talking about my good buddy Chase Orgeron and the blonde women. I went a little too far. I apologize. But at Orgeron, his uncle isn't here at LSU anymore. He's got a predecessor named Brian Kelly. Spence, first off, what's going on? And what did you think about our good buddy Brian Kelly at SEC Media Days?
Brian Kelly's holding his own. I mean, there's nothing. Brian Kelly's doing exactly what Brian Kelly needs to do. He's keeping his name in the media. He's recruiting. He's honestly setting a few teams up to actually underestimate him this season, which is a very interesting ploy. If I were a head coach, I would never underestimate Brian Kelly, right? I mean, it's somebody that's coached at the highest levels. We know that he can recruit. We know that's going to be easier now that he's at LSU. The systems that he likes to run are going to actually they're probably going to look better with LSU talent. So I think that Brian Kelly held his own. I know there are a lot of clowns out there. There are a lot of clowns. There are a lot of people, that are getting their jokes off. I get it. I understand everybody's joking right now, but I'm pretty sure Brian Kelly has something for him in these first couple of games at the beginning of the season.
Memphis, am I overreacting to just like shut up at this point? I mean, Memphis, we're at SEC Media Days, and people are putting TikTok dancers. They're putting, Southern accent enthusiasts. Like, I get it. It's funny. Haha. But, man, I got to be honest, from an LSU guy and fan and a guy that covers them, at some point it gets a little obnoxious. Are you of the mindset as me, like, hey, man, you better get these jokes out now, because if Brian Kelly gets this thing rolling, you're in trouble?
Yeah. Get the jokes going now, because there may not be a lot of people laughing when the regular season gets started. So I'd welcome the jokes. In Memphis, we always be joking on each other. It's a tradition in Memphis. So I mean, everybody get their jokes off, and then when it gets serious on the field, I want to see that same energy. I want to see people laughing like they were beforehand. When you look over and you're like, man, we're going into the fourth quarter, and we're down like 17 to this LSU defense, and we know we're not going to do anything to it. So get the jokes off right now, because I think there's going to be a serious reckoning during the season. One that it seems as if maybe I'm giving Brian Kelly a little bit too much credit. I don't know. All I've seen the man do is win. There aren't that many seasons that he's had in recent memory where he's not had a winning season. So what's he going to do with LSU talent? I mean, what's he going to do with the third ranked and fourth ranked, recruiting classes a couple of years? I don't understand why people don't understand 1 + 1 = 2 still in my book. So the talent that he has to work with, I think is going to work out in his favor. And I wouldn't worry about his recruiting right now. Let him get settled. Let him get the plays in. Let him critique his playbook year one and see exactly what he's missing out of the talent that's already there. Because you and I know that LSU doesn't really, they're never devoid of talent. So when you put a coach with the skill set of Brian Kelly with that talent, somebody that, he'll play around until game time, then it gets really serious. Yeah, it should be a good fit. It should be a really good fit.
Memphis, I know that you do your top 16. I don't.
I do.
I don't think that LSU's in that top 16. I could be wrong, or at least in your top 16.
To start off the season, no, but that could change really quick.
25, would you have him in that top 25 if you did that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What? So
they probably learn. They're lingering around 24, 25 in my mind right now. So
why is that? Why? Yeah. Why is that?
So the defense that Brian Kelly likes to run, it was lackluster at Notre Dame because they just didn't have. They always had an offensive line. They just didn't have the quickness at corner. Well, what do we know about DBU? I mean, he doesn't even have to worry about that anymore. Now he's rich with talent, and I want to see exactly how some of the defense that he has now is probably going to be better than any defense that he's ever had coaching. And all he has to do is get the offense together and then watch out. So I have them lurking around 25 right now. They have a schedule where they could easily make the college football playoff. There may be some. It's a tough schedule though. It's not an easy schedule. So probably I don't know where the ceiling is on this team, but I would say the floor is probably around 8 games. I expect Brian Kelly to go out there and win 8 games this year.
If he wins 8 games, I'm flying you to Louisiana, and we're going to eat as much gumbo and crawfish as we can, and we're drinking all night long. Memphis
Let's
Spence.
do it.
Memphis, I said earlier, and this is just of my opinion. Now, they're not firing Brian Kelly if they lose to Florida State.
No.
But I really do believe that LSU does have to win week 1 against Florida State. I think they got just to kind of put everybody back on notice of who they are. Are you of the same thought process of me? Like LSU's really got to make a statement after last year going to UCLA and just kind of getting physically dominated?
I'm almost certain that they will. I mean, there's nothing. I'm down here in Tampa now, and Florida State's not that far away. The information that I get for Florida State, and Miami is pretty good these days. The Florida State, God bless my old coach. I mean,
Mike Norvell.
He's going to run into a buzzsaw, which is LSU this year, and probably lose the opening game again. Now, nobody's going to fault him this year for losing to LSU. Do they have athletes? Yes. Their defensive line is pretty good this year.
Talking about
Florida State. Outside of that, we're a little mediocre, honestly. And, the complaints, the team that really has complaints about recruiting lately has been what Norvell's been doing at Florida State. Now, if you compare apples to apples there, then you'll start seeing some real deficiencies where you didn't see Florida State really lacking. Their linebackers were always above average. Now they're kind of average. You start looking around, you're like, are any of these guys NFL prospects yet? And that's not a conversation you used to have. There used to at least be some prospects at linebacker there at Florida State. I'm looking around like, I'm not sure. And when that crosses my mind, and I'm a defensive guy, when that crosses my mind, I'm like, what's Norvell? Norvell's never really been able to recruit that well. He didn't recruit that well at Memphis. What he's able to do is take under-recruited guys, put them with his team. They coached them up. They got them ready for the NFL, and they did some really good drills. But at Florida State, this at LSU, at Florida State, which should still be, in recent memory, they've won a championship. So they should still be somewhere around 15, 20 in everybody's minds, top 20 team in the nation, if not higher. You got to bring A-star talent there. You got to bring 5 stars and high 4-star guys there. Especially in defense, if you're going to be playing with Clemson's, you're going to be playing with the Louisvilles that always seem to have some sort of athletic backfield. It's been very lackluster from what I've seen with FSU, and that's why I look at that first matchup and I'm like, well, this is honestly Brian Kelly's game to lose. I don't see him actually losing that game. In my mind, that's 75-80% LSU off top. It should be competitive at first, but Norvell's fourth quarter defense, unless he's done something magical there, it's always kind of they don't seem very conditioned to go four quarters. He's either up by 10 going into the fourth quarter, trying to hang on to it. If it's any closer than that, they just lose the game. It doesn't really matter who's playing.
I mean, Memphis had happened a season ago with Notre Dame. Speaking of Brian Kelly and Florida State, they faltered down the stretch, right?
That's what those defenses for Norvell does. I don't know. He gets in these coaching situations, and he's not really – he's great pregame, in-game coaching. There's still a lot left to be desired, which is how UCF beat him so many times. He never beat UCF. And that was one of the questions I always had about Norvell is when he got to
Was Heupel the head coach then?
Heupel, yeah. He never beat Heupel while he was there. And I think one year, I want to say the first year was Frost.
Okay.
And then Heupel after that. But he never beat
winning coach Scott Frost, by the way.
Right. But he never beat any of those dudes. And I was just like, well, why does Florida State really want a guy that doesn't beat UCF? You know, I mean, a lot of the year we were playing in the Cotton Bowl, and he has a high-powered offense, but the year that we were playing the Cotton Bowl, you could see the deficiencies on defense. You know, I mean, if we could get a stop, we put up more points than anybody else did in the Big Ten on Penn State. Get a stop or two, we're in the game. Instead, it's like a 7-point to 14-point lead the entire time, if not more. But I think that this is a Brian Kelly game. I don't look past this game, but that's his game to lose. LSU wins this one hands down.
Speaking of another team that LSU will play this year, and a lot of people have a buzz around now, I think Josh Heupel, speaking of him, talks tomorrow at SEC Media Days.
Right.
What's your thoughts on Tennessee? I could see them being a 10-win team. I could see them being a 5-win team. What's your thoughts on Tennessee?
I don't know what Tennessee's going to do this year because Heupel's one of those guys that got wins, and I didn't know how. When I was watching them in the American Athletic Conference, I was like, yeah, he's winning, but are they the mistakes of the other coach of why he's winning? He's like one of those guys, like, just don't mess it up, you know, and as long as he doesn't – because he usually doesn't make a quote-unquote coaching mistake, but he lets the other team beat themselves, basically. Get out of position. You know, if it's a real disciplined team, he never beats teams like that. But once that offense, you know, he runs a very fast offense. If your defense is, for whatever reason, you know, if they're load bearing on one side, so for whatever reason he figures out how to beat those short screens. If they're out of position, if they're not really don't have any gap integrity, he'll pick up first downs easily, but he usually lets the other team beat themselves. He doesn't have any schemes that I would say are amazing. He just has a lot of regular, hey, if you do this, you know, a lot of RPO stuff. If you do this, we'll do that. But if your team's fast, which LSU is, if your team's disciplined, which LSU should be now, that's one of the things I'm looking for from Kelly. They should be disciplined this year. That it's not a game. He usually doesn't win those games. So we'll see. That's going to be an interesting game. Probably a game that you'll see within 10 points. I don't think it'll be – I really think the FSU game is going to be more of a blowout. I think that's going to be more of a 14-plus point blowout by LSU. I'm sorry I don't have the faith that everybody else does in Norvell. I've seen that act before. But the Heupel, that's probably going to be close because he usually keeps games close, and that should be some really good competition. I still think LSU should be able to win that game.
I'm just going to say this. If Cornrows Mike Norvell shows up to the game, I'm sure. You know, like if wide receiver Cornrows Mike Norvell shows up,
yeah.
I start panicking. My producer Pooh Bear,
that guy
got cornrows. He's going to kill
guy.
me the show. Memphis, I want to keep in the SEC, but I do want to ask you one question in the ACC.
Sure.
I got to be blunt and honest. I think Clemson is the most underrated team that no one's really – they're talking about Clemson, but you're really not talking about Clemson.
Right.
I think that front seven is going to be disgusting. I think that Ugalele is going to have a much better season. I think they needed a change offensively, and Tony Elliott leaving. Sometimes things could get stale. Memphis, I've called for them to be in the playoff. They're one of my 4 teams this year. What is your thoughts about Clemson as we're getting so much closer to the regular season?
In my mind, the jury's out on Clemson. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Playoff team, maybe. I gotta see what Dabo does with the talent that he has right now. I really want to see what Dabo does because let's put it like this. After game 4, we'll know. But I'm gonna reserve judgment on Clemson. I don't know if they're a playoff team this year. They're probably a 10-win team because who can't win 10 games in the ACC? But
they won 10 last year, you know?
Yeah. And last year wasn't a good year for them. So
and they start off this season with Walking Dead State University, you know? I mean,
right. But the question is going to be if, Clemson has the way Clemson won those championships is really through their defense. Do they have the guys? Yes. Is the scheme going to be there? Is the experience going to be there at DC now? I don't know. I got to see what Dabo does. Dabo used to do a whole lot of Clemsoning back in the day. So, I'm going to check to see what his defensive schemes look like with the talent that he has. Do they have talent? Absolutely. Front seven, solid. At least 3 guys there that I know that I've already had conversations, 2 scouts about that are NFL prospects. So they have talent. But as well as I do, talent in the wrong position, it ain't tackling nobody. So we got to see what those schemes are, where those guys are placed. I know they can make the plays if they're in the right position. But they still got to get there. And Dabo working with a new defensive coordinator. Let's see what happens.
We're going to fire off some very quick questions for you.
Shoot it.
Pooh Bear, our producer, says, ask Memphis, new coach under the most pressure, Riley, Kelly, Cristobal, Napier, Lanning, etc.
I mean, you got to go with Napier, right? Because he's at Florida. I mean, what?
The jort capital of the world.
I mean, Florida's been acting like Tennessee. They've been kind of like shooting themselves in the foot with coaches. And it almost feels as if they're starting to start trending downward on coaches. Now, I like Napier, and but he has a tough task. He has a lot of naysayers already floating around, and quiet is kept. Florida's happy, but not really happy with the coach that they have now. Coach Mack came in, was coach of the year. They ran him out of there in about 2.5 years. I can't. I have no idea what Darth Vader's doing these days. But Napier honestly has it cut out for him because Kentucky's been quietly building that defense and quietly starting to put together an offense. And I'm like, well, you still can't beat Georgia, but you might be able to beat Florida and Tennessee. And if you can do that, you can you can at least be in competition for that SEC East. Kentucky's starting to claw up on Florida regularly now, and I don't know. That's a tough spot to come into. But if you give him the resources and the time being the key factor there, I think Napier will be all right.
The only thing with Napier is he's going to do a lot of quarterback reads, a lot of quarterback RPO type stuff. Anthony Richardson, in my opinion, is that dude.
Okay.
My opinion, I put $10 on him to win the Heisman at like unreal odds. I'm fully prepared to lose $10, but if I hit, I'm hitting 12 hundos. So look, I have a lot of faith in that.
So that's when we're going to get that crawfish, right? That's when I'm coming when you do that.
Hey, he can pull a Tebow and go 9-3 and lose to LSU and win the Heisman. I'm completely okay with that. I'm completely
awesome.
Memphis, that young man can play now. Look, he got a bad rap for a lot of different reasons. I'm keeping my eyes out on him. Last one though, Memphis.
Well, hold on though. Let me ask you this though, because I was trying to figure out, like, is Miles Brennan or Jaden Daniels going to be the starter out there at LSU? I mean, I know Jaden Daniels is coming from Arizona State. Brennan's been injured. He's been injured. He looks good when he's not injured, but he's just been injured. Arizona State can't win with their own QBs, but they seem like their transfers, man. They work out really well, man. We've had a couple over there at Memphis, and we're like, okay, well, Brady White, he transferred over there, got us to the Cotton Bowl. I was fine with that. So I'm looking at Jaden Daniels like, well, they can't win with them, but can LSU win with them?
That's actually kind of the next question that was geared towards you about the quarterback play at LSU. So I guess we're in the segment here with you. Personally, I don't think anybody on God's green planet knows. The one thing that we do know is that Brian Kelly yesterday, and I got beat up because apparently I'm pushing a narrative, even though I'm directing a quote from Brian Kelly yesterday. He wants a guy that can be able to move outside the pocket. He wants a guy that can use his legs. That does not fit Miles Brennan, if that's truly the case. It fits Garrett Nussmeier, it fits Walker Howard, and it obviously fits Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's going to win the starting job, but what I do know is no matter what, Jaden Daniels is going to have packages for him in the red zone. And to me,
as he should.
If you are playing and starting or not starting, but if you are playing and you have the ball in your hands in the red zone, no matter what the team, what the opponent, that is significant snaps. Points are a dime a dozen. You literally go out and pay hundreds of millions of dollars to score touchdowns in the red zone. That's what football is legitimately all about. With that being said, I think it's a two-person race, but nobody told five-star quarterback Walker Howard that he's supposed to be redshirting.
That's true.
So if you have a young man that's more talented, that's fourth on your roster, and Memphis, he starts making plays in the middle of the season, and you're like, good googly moogly, what do we have here? I digress. But I would love your opinion on this to end out the segment.
I'm trying to figure out if Kelly would start a freshman over these guys. Because that's
I don't think that he will. So elaborate on that, because, look, you've covered college athletics and Notre Dame holistically more than we have.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly doesn't like playing freshmen.
He's a traditionalist in that. And look, I'm not saying that he won't, but he didn't do much of that at Notre Dame. He didn't do much of that at Cincinnati. He's not one of those guys that he likes guys that get his playbook, because he has some really complex plays, and that's kind of what it's going to be really interesting to see who gets it. I thought, if Miles Brennan can keep standing or keep up in the pocket, that he'd be a guy that actually would be able to understand the playbook. Jaden Daniels, I think, not only could understand the playbook, I think he could execute it at this level. He's been there.
Even if he doesn't, he can run away from Will Anderson.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that, if Howard Walker starts, man, that would be a surprise to me in this situation, because I don't think he doesn't seem like the gambler type. But then again, he may turn over a new leaf. He may get here and say, look at all this talent. I've never had this much talent before. So
I forget the song. I'm going to let my hair up and let my braids down. That's what Brian Kelly's going to do.
Right. So Brian Kelly,
Petey Pablo, Memphis style, rip his shirt off and start swinging around like a helicopter.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know about all that, but he's Brian Kelly's he'll pick. First of all, there'll definitely be different packages for different QBs, and it's going to be a performance thing. He's a very good evaluator of who's really getting his packages. I think Jaden Daniels, though, is if you're asking me right now, and I don't have that much information on who's gonna start there. I was hoping you did, honestly. Let me ask Blake. But if you ask me who's likely to be the starter for Kelly day one, right now, knowing everything that I know, it'll probably be Daniels. Because I think Daniels will not only get the playbook, I think he can actually make the plays. and Kelly's going to evaluate that. Let's hope he doesn't get hurt. But Brennan, I don't know. I think Brennan's going to have a role in this offense. But I think Jaden Daniels is going to be your day one starter.
The last time you made a big statement like this on AYS, it was about Will Wade, and you said he was going down, and you got called out, and then 3 weeks later, I brought you back up, and you were like, and I'm quoting you, nana boo boo. Are we going to be bringing you back in 3 weeks? And you're saying the same thing. We'll see then, buddy. You know how much I love you coming on this show.
Hey man, I love you. And sorry about your grandma, man. I've been praying for you and your family on that.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Well, look, I'm looking forward to your top 16. When Memphis, very, very quickly, when do you release like your top 16?
I'm actually starting to work on it now. I usually start after all the media days are done, which I think the last one's going to be done like the end of this week, or the ones that actually are meaningful are going to be done probably at the end of next week, honestly. You do have the American Athletic Conference on the 28th. So I'll probably start somewhere in between the 28th and that first week of August and start putting together preseason. We all do it. Everybody who votes in that, the top 52, they choose us. And we're the chosen FWAA Super 16 voters. And I finally get a chance to vote with guys like Phil Steele. On this thing. I mean, guys that I used to grow up reading, he's one of the voters on this. So
how much crawfish do I have to bowl to get on the committee?
I don't know, man. Like I said, it was a surprise. And honestly, if there was anything that good that happened through the pandemic, there are a lot of people that decided to retire and open up a spot for little old me. I try to stay in the background. I try not to, be out there or whatnot. There are a lot of Nicole Auerbach is one of the voters.
Right.
There's some very, very popular voters. And then there are just some analysts like me that everybody just kind of knows, like he knows what he's doing. So let's put him on this board. Let's make sure we're accurate. So
all I'm saying is, man, I want an NIL deal from the committee. That's it.
You'll have one. Well, we'll be working on that. I'll work on that for you, my man.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man. We'll talk again very soon. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
That's our good buddy Memphis Spence. Always kills it. Always kills it. That's why I love him, man. We had an interesting story how I met Memphis just via Twitter. We got in a very good Twitter discussion. We didn't go yell back and forth like most fans on Twitter do. I brought him on the show. He was right. I was wrong. Hey, man, he showed me why he's one of the best voters when it comes to college football in the country. All right, let's do this. I'm going to bring Pooh Bear in here. Zach said that his goatee and mullet aren't lined up yet, so we won't bring on Zach to end the show, but we will bring on Pooh Bear. Believe in Saints at 8:15. So let's pay the bills. We will bring in Pooh Bear back in 1 minute. Let's talk about our good friends over at Grahamco, thegrahamco.com. Be back in a minute. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Grahamco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Grahamco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegrahamco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegrahamco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Grahamco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegrahamco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. Actually, I lied. And Pooh Bear, let's bring Pooh Bear in here. No believe in Saints.
Oh.
We kind of have to reschedule, so that's fine. Pooh Bear, let me ask you this. I know it's been in Twitter Spaces. I know that I got called out for it. I know that, first off, What a beautiful twist of your hair. I mean,
Thank you. So I went in to go get a twist to get ready for SWAC Media Days because I got to be pretty. And
okay, can you say when you ask Dion a question, Mr. Sanders, this is Pooh Bear from the Golden Boot Pod hashtag AYS. Can you do that for a player? Like, can you say that? Like, can you throw your brother a bone or what?
I got you. I'm saying, hey, I'm representing for all the bad in the out here.
All right.
All the bad B words.
Jay Johnson's getting more.
Hashtag narrative. I'm fine. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go.
First off, this is what I want to do every single week that this happens. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, tomatoes.
Apparently, I push narratives. Nevertheless, Jay Johnson is having an early Christmas, as they would call Christmas in July. Pooh Bear, do you ever remember this much success in any sport like this, especially in baseball?
I can't think of a time where, especially in baseball, where you can easily lose a recruit like that. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, LSU lost a quarterback in 2008 when the draft popped up and he left and went and played baseball, and LSU was stuck scrambling for another quarterback. So, yeah, July can be brutal, especially for baseball, especially at LSU. What Jay Johnson has done is by no means short of a miracle. I'll say this: as much as fans complain about NIL on the football side, NIL may have helped you a lot on the baseball side because now you can kind of compete with those contract numbers.
It's your uncle. Come on. Every time. Hey.
Binky Ben.
Hey, who is that? Who is that? Who? Is he your favorite?
Yeah.
Is Uncle Zach your favorite? Say it loud. Pooh Bear. All right. Well, look, I agree with you, Pooh Bear. I mean, look, you can't have this much success and not think in today's society that you aren't doing things in NIL. Now, just do it to football. Pooh Bear, I don't know if you'll be here because, we have some family things we got to take care of before you go to SWAC Media Days. So let's talk about it very quickly before we get out of here. What are you going to ask Dion? I mean, are you what do you come off? And really, are you prepping for that? Stop that.
Yeah, I know one thing we're going to ask most coaches is how do you plan to compete with the things that Jackson State are doing or putting together. As Dion, how's it feel being at the top? It's lonely at the top. How does he prepare his mentally or prepare the kids mentally to take that on? So,
well, look, I'm really interested. The first question I want to know is, hey, when you win and when you have 10 wins this year and Florida State fires Mike Norvell, Pooh Bear, I want to hear him say it.
Yeah.
I want to, because look, we debate this all the time. And I think that he's doing fantastic stuff at Jackson State. Stand by it, put your stamp on it. That's what I want. Just saying. I got one more question though.
Yep.
Nick Saban talked about playing HBCUs today. Did I miss something? Am I losing my mind here?
Ben is right there, so I'll just say bull.
He can't hear you.
Okay, bullshit. Let's say this. So it's like this. Alabama has not played an in-state rival except for Auburn, or I'm sorry, any in-state school except for Auburn I know way before I was born.
And how old are you? Like 62, right?
Yeah, 69.
My mama's watching the show, dog.
Listen, I just ate slow.
Oh, tomato. I'm throwing tomatoes.
But no, seriously, Alabama we talked about this before. Alabama could have really helped UAB out, and they didn't. And UAB is under their umbrella, so it really would have kept money in house. and they didn't. They chose not to. So
I'm really looking forward for you. I think it's a huge deal for you guys over
See,
at the Golden Boot.
there it is. It's been since like 1944, since the last time Alabama played another.
War II.
So yeah.
Interesting. You know, and look on the flip side, Brian Kelly came out this week and said, why aren't we playing Southern? Because guys, this game, I'm quoting, I've never played against an FCS opponent where the game was already sold out.
That game was
sold out.
Yeah. And just wait till next year when they play Grambling as well. I mean, this is going to be big because it's not even just in state, it's in city.
Correct.
When they play Grambling as well, it's going to be a sellout as well. I can guarantee that. So
sounds good. That's what makes you the Pooh Bear. Good luck, safe travels. Tell your Uncle Pooh bye.
Bye, Ben.
Say bye, Uncle Pooh. All right. We'll see y'all soon. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Oh, Mike Jones Jr. tomorrow. And I think we got a pretty big special guest. He might be on the staff. We'll see if we can work some things out with them there. But until then, we'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.